Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 2, The Lord in the Heart, text number 13 onwards. So Shukdev Goswami is further speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. Ekekasho angani dhyanubhave padadi yavadhasitam gadam jitah jitam jitam sthanam apoya dharye param param shuddhyati dhira yatha yatha. The process of meditation should begin from the lotus feet of the Lord and progress to his smiling face. The meditation should be concentrated upon the lotus feet, then the calves, then the thighs, and in this way higher and higher. The more the mind becomes fixed upon the different parts of the limbs, one after another, the more the intelligence becomes purified. The process of meditation recommended in the Srimad Bhagavatam is not to fix one's attention on something impersonal or void. The meditation should concentrate on the person of the Supreme Godhead, either in his Virat Rup, the gigantic universal form, or in his Sachidanand Vigraha, as described in the scriptures. There are authorized descriptions of Vishnu forms, and there are authorized representations of deities in the temples. Thus, one can practice meditating upon the deity, concentrating his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord and gradually rising higher and higher up to his smiling face. So that is according to Srimad Bhagavatam, that's the right way of taking darshan or meditation of the Supreme Lord. According to the Bhagavad school, the Lord's Ras dance is the smiling face of the Lord. Since it is recommended in this verse that one should gradually progress from the lotus feet up to the smiling face, we shall not jump at once to understand the Lord's pastimes in the Ras dance. It is better to practice concentrating our attention by offering flowers and tulsi to the lotus feet of the Lord. In this way, we gradually become purified by the Archana process. We dress the Lord, bathe him, etc. And all these transcendental activities help us purify our existence. When we reach the higher standard of purification, if we see the smiling face of the Lord, or hear the rasa dance pastimes of the Lord, then we can relish his activities. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, therefore, the rasa dance pastimes are delineated in the 10th canto, chapter 29 through 34. So Prabhupada is mentioning here, so it's better to practice concentrating our attention by offering flowers and tulsi to the lotus feet of the Lord. In this way, we gradually become purified by the Archana process. So that's why it's very, very important to, this practice of offering flowers, tulsi, and Archana process, this all comes in sadhana bhakti. So sadhana bhakti performed with attention will purify us. Like it is said that attention, wherever we show our attention, wherever the attention goes, the energy follows. Energy follows the attention. So then naturally the thing in the heart grows wherever our attention is. Many things will be there to distract us. Many people will be there to distract us. Many things will be there. So our obviously we are not blind. So our eyes can go towards that. Our ears can hear lots of things. But one thing we have to make sure our attention should not go towards that. Attention should be on Krishna, Krishna's name, Krishna's pastime, or attention should be on our position, that who am I? My duty, my job is to serve Krishna. I'm a spirit soul. If we throughout our day, if we keep our attention on this chanting of the holy names, the chanting also not mechanical chanting, attentive chanting, and the attention, if we keep on these, it will go here and there, but we have to bring it back again and again and again and again. And then slowly, slowly, all the worldly things, even if we see, we hear, we read, but the attention won't be there. Then that is, and the attention will be, or if we divert it towards Krishna, Krishna's name, Krishna's service, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's rupa, or and on our constitutional position that I'm a spirit soul, I'm not this body. I'm here to serve Krishna and here to serve Krishna's devotees. Attention has to be there. And then the energy will follow towards that. And when an energy follows, then definitely that thing, or that activity or that position will grow in our heart. So it's not just automatically going to happen just because we are trying to chant, say, 16 rounds or 32 rounds or 64 rounds. Automatically, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen mechanically. We have to cultivate that that position. We have to cultivate that service mode. So we have to try. Like Prabhupada saying, so it is better to practice our attention by offering flowers and tulsi to the lotus feet of the Lord. And when we offer flowers, tulsi, or when we do arti at home, or when we are cooking for Krishna, obviously there will be many distractions. But we try to give our attention to the deity, to the process of offering, to the process of cooking. Then that bhakti, that will then that will become bhakti. Otherwise, it will be a pious activity, which is good, but we want to do bhakti. Bhakti means where the love is there, where devotion is there, where heart is there, where sentiment, where emotions are attached in service. That is bhakti. So that's what we have to practice. The more one concentrates on the transcendental form of the Lord, either on the lotus feet, the calves, the thighs, or the chest, the more one becomes purified. So why again and again Prabhupada says purified? Even in the words it says, all the Prabhupada in the purport previously says, all these transcendental activities help us purify our existence. And here also Prabhupada says, more one becomes purified. In this verse, it is clearly stated, the more the intelligence becomes purified. And Prabhupada explains, which means the more one becomes detached from sense gratification. Our intelligence in the present conditioned state of life is impure due to being engaged in sense gratification. So this impurity, actually, it's not the impurity of the soul. It's something that has been covering the soul. So when we meditate on this every day, I'm a spirit soul. I'm a pure servant of Krishna. I'm a pure devotee of Krishna. Somehow or other, I am in this material body, stuck in this material world, with these ideas of sense gratification. but I'm a pure soul. I'm here to serve Krishna. So that is the way. And also when we serve Krishna, not just meditate on it, not just talk about it, when we really serve, just like just like a husband and a wife, and husband comes home after the day's work, and he comes home in the evening, and wife says, "Oh, my dear husband, I love you, but no food for you today." So the just a lip service will not do it. We have to do the service also practically. So that's how slowly one becomes detached from sense gratification. Because in our original position of a spirit soul, we have nothing to do with in this material world. Nothing. It's just a part we are playing. That's all. Originally, we belong to Krishna, belong to service. Create here with service. We are with a loving devotional service towards Krishna. The result of meditation on the transcendental form of the Lord will be manifested by one's detachment from sense gratification. Therefore, the ultimate purpose of meditation is purification of one's intelligence. Those who are too engrossed in sense gratification cannot be allowed to participate in archana or to touch the transcendental form of the Radha, Krishna, or Vishnu deities. So those who are too engrossed in sense gratification cannot be allowed. That's why in our temples, only the devotees who have taken second initiation, they are allowed to enter the altar or enter the pujari room or go on the altar and serve the deities. But again, just because somebody has been awarded second initiation doesn't mean he has gone beyond the position of sense gratification. Of course, the idea is he or she should be, but we all are conditioned souls and we all have our own sanskaras. So sometimes those sanskaras come out very forcibly. But the idea is to touch the deities of the Lord means one has to be in that position, transcendental position, because Krishna's form as a deity is not different from Krishna. So that's why one has to be very careful when he is serving the deities of Radha and Krishna, or Jagannathji, or Shaligram Shila, or Govardhan. That understanding this is not different from Krishna. For them, it is better to meditate upon the giant universalist and avoid to meditate upon the universal form of the Lord. Whereas the devotees are recommended to meditate on the deity form in the temple. Because the impersonalists and the voidists are not sufficiently purified, spiritual activities, archana is not meant for them. So one has to be very much purified to perform this archana process or touch the deities of the Lord. But even though we are not at that position, but it's a mercy of Prabhupada that he's allowing us to come up to that level. And the idea is by touching the deities, by serving them, by performing arti, by cooking for them, slowly, we get so much attached to the deities that we have no inclination for material activities. Very powerful. But Prabhupada is saying, but at least if it's impersonally, those who have no faith in the personal feature of the Lord, for them it's better to meditate upon the universal form, Virat Rupa. So again, coming back to the Virat Rupa, text 14. Yavan jayat paravare asmin vishveshvare drishtari bhakti yoga tavasthaviya purushasya rupam kriyavasane prayatah smareta. Unless the gross materialist develop a sense of loving service unto the Supreme Lord, the seer of both the transcendental and material worlds, he should remember or meditate upon the universal form of the Lord at the end of his prescribed duties. So a gross materialist who has no faith in the Supreme Lord, who hasn't developed a sense of service, then he should remember and meditate on the universal form. It's important for him. The Supreme Lord is a seer of all the worlds, both material and transcendent. In other words, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate beneficiary and enjoyer of all the worlds, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29. The spiritual world is a manifestation of his internal potency, and the material world is a manifestation of his external potency. The living entities are also his marginal potency, and by their own choice they can live in either the transcendental or material worlds. The material world is not a fit place for living entities because they are spiritually one with the Lord. And in the material world, the living entities become conditioned by the laws of the material world. The Lord wants all the living entities who are his parts and parcels to live with him in the transcendental world, and for enlightening conditioned souls in the material world. All the Vedas and revealed scriptures are there, expressly to recall the conditioned souls back home, back to Godhead. So Prabhupada is just giving a synopsis of our position, that we also belong to Krishna. Spiritually, we are equal, we are one. It's just quantitatively, we are very minute. But Krishna makes all the arrangements in the material world for us to go back home, back to God, and to go back to the spiritual world. Unfortunately, the conditioned living entities, although suffering continually the threefold miseries of conditioned life, are not very serious about going back to God. It's due to their misguided way of living, complicated by sins and virtues. Some of them who are virtuous by deeds begin to re-establish the lost relation with the Lord, but they are unable to understand the personal feature of the Lord. The real purpose of life is to make contact with the Lord and be engaged in His service. That is the natural position of living entities. But those who are impersonalists and are unable to render any loving service to the Lord have been advised to meditate upon His impersonal feature of the Virat Rupa, or the universal form. So when one starts his journey towards Krishna, or his spiritual journey, so in the beginning he is not ready to render any loving service to the Lord because he does not have faith in the spiritual form of the Lord. So then it is recommended, okay, you meditate on the impersonal feature of Virat Rupa, or universal form. See, Krishna is not saying that just my form and that's it, nothing else. It's like different students in a school. Now, some students are qualified for first grade only. Some students are qualified for fifth grade. Some students are qualified for 10th. Some could be qualified for 12th. So that's why there are different grades are there. So they can go get into that grade and then pass the exam and qualify for the next grade, make advancement. So similarly, spiritually also, everybody is not at the same level. It cannot be. Everybody has his own sanskaras, they have their own conditioning, they have their own consciousness, their own intelligence, their own experiences, their own association. So everybody is at different level. So understanding that, we have to try to deal with everybody accordingly. Of course, the aim is to help them make progress. Understanding that ultimate aim is to serve Radha Krishna in Golok. That is the highest goal, highest perfection. Now, but when somebody who is qualified for less than that, for him, see, scriptures also, just like other day, somebody posted this Shivlingam story, and Brahmaji and Vishnuji, they were all trying to find the end of Shivlingam, and they couldn't. So I had never read, but then somebody posted it's from Shiv Puran. So hoping that is the truth. So Shiv Puran, which again all the Puranas, all the scriptures are compiled by Vedas. So Shiv Puran, if this story is mentioned, it is for the devotees of Lord Shiva to at least understand Lord Shiva is the supreme and start worshipping him. And slowly, just like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, even if you're worshipping the demigods, you're worshipping me in a wrong way, but you're worshipping me. Avidhi Purvakam. So at least start worshipping Lord Shiva. Or in Durga Puran, they would be mentioned that Durga Ji is the supreme. So start worshipping Supreme. Start worshipping Durga Ji. Slowly, by their mercy, one will come to the platform of serving Krishna. Many lifetimes later, maybe. So in this way, one who understands Krishna, then he does understand Paramatma feature and Brahmajyoti feature of Krishna and the demigods also. So actually, the idea is not to disturb somebody's faith in whatever they are doing. If they are qualified, Krishna will make arrangement for us or through somebody to preach to him or her and bring them on the right track. If they are not qualified, let them wherever they are, and let them slowly, gradually, at least, even if they appreciate the devotees are very nice. They have made the progress, or they will get a chance to make the progress. So one should not disturb anybody, at least not forcibly or fanatically. At the same time, we have to preach. I'm not saying we should not preach, but the preaching has to come from the heart. Idea is to not to defeat anybody. Idea is to transform their heart by our loving, caring, serving attitude. That is preaching. So towards the end, Prabhupada says, this sort of thinking is one is advised herewith to meditate upon the Virat Roop specified in previous chapters in order to understand how the different planets, seas, mountains, rivers, birds, beasts, human beings, demigods, and all that we can conceive are but different parts and limbs of the Lord's Virat form. This sort of thinking is also a type of meditation on the absolute truth. And as soon as such meditation begins, one develops one's godly qualities, and the whole world appears to be a happy and peaceful residence for all the people of the world. In fact, if this meditation we can do as a devotees, that'll be great. We can become great people. We don't want to just become devotees, we want to become great human beings also. The whole world appears to be a happy and peaceful residence. That should be the aim. Without such meditation on God, either personal or impersonal, all good qualities of the human being becomes covered with misconceptions regarding his constitutional position, and without such advanced knowledge, the whole world becomes a hell for the human being. So Prabhupada is basically saying we have to develop the good qualities, and in that good quality, the whole world appears to be a happy and peaceful residence for all the people, not just for all the people, for all the living entities of the world, in fact. So I'll stop here. If anybody has any question or comment. So I guess we can start.
So,
We all
Prabhuji,
have
Hare Krishna,
yes.
Prabhu. I have
Hare
one
Krishna.
question, Prabhuji. How do we determine which mode we are doing any service? Is it in the mode of passion or it's in from the heart? How do we determine that? Let's say we are doing book distribution. How do we know?
Well, we have to see if that service, by doing that service, uh, what's in my heart. I'm doing it for name, fame, position, power, money, what? Or I'm doing it for the pleasure of Krishna. And if by doing that service I come back and the mode of goodness, or I am developing some competitive mentality with somebody, then we have to see ourselves. And most of the times, actually, um, these things we don't see, but others can definitely see. But if they tell us we don't believe it, that's a different story. But others can definitely see. So that's why if some advanced or senior devotees are there, they can definitely tell us if we are making a mistake or not.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you, Nanda.
But how to bring it from heart, Prabhuji? You said one point, right? That this thing should come from the heart, like preaching should come from the heart.
From the heart, what I meant was, idea is not to defeat somebody. Idea is to transform him or her. Not forcibly, but lovingly. So if we are preaching to somebody, if we are fanatic and we are forcing somebody, that might lead to some result in the beginning, but it won't change the heart of anybody.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Clear.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Any other question or comment?
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Wonderful points made, points taken by us also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.